Milwaukee on a beautiful, it's been a heck of a run the last like 14 to 20 days. It's been a great start to the summer. Hopefully that you guys, for those of you who have kids that are getting out of school, you're starting to settle in as to what the next 90 days looks like for you and how you manage it. And for those of you that don't have to deal with that, God bless you. As my kids have gotten older and I'm now starting to understand what it means to be a parent in the summer, I'm like, oh, okay, carpool starts next week for Marquette basketball camp. Ooh, all right, Harriet needs to go to ballet. Ooh, all right, there's a lot of pressure and stress that shows up where routine is not a thing. But hopefully everybody, I know this is the first team meeting back from Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully everybody had an incredible Memorial Day weekend with you and your families, and that you're able to have a little bit of a reset. And the theme for today is reset. Okay. 2 weeks ago, I talked a lot around conversations I've been having with agents and the pressure and anxiety they've been feeling. And it was hard to kind of put a pulse because I thought everyone's feelings were a bit different. And how do we approach them to help you reset your mindset heading into the back half of the year? And so that's what I'm going to do today is I'm going to share with you a model and ways in which that you can reset your mindset and reset your goals heading into the back half of the year. Sound good? Beautiful. All right. Before we start, though, I thought I would dig into something that we kind of gloss over. I think we try and bring it up every week and then we try and highlight different things. But I thought I'd go a bit deeper into this because I think it's an important time of the year for us to reground ourselves in terms of what our core beliefs as a mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective is as an organization, to drive alignment as to what it is that people are aligned to in the community that we're looking to build, right? And I think it's an easy thing to gloss over and make it in sometimes not getting ourselves rooted in terms of the community that we are building and what it is that we all commonly value. And so I just wanted to take a moment to kind of go through these in a brief standpoint. From a mission statement, quite frankly, what guides our Northern Star in terms of how the leadership team serves you every single day. Our mission is to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, lives worth living, experiences worth giving, and legacies worth leaving. And if you think about this and how it correlates to either your partnership with us, your partnership at home, what it is that you're trying to achieve in terms of the back half of the year, in terms of your goals personally and professionally, I challenge you to take a hard, deep reset in terms of what is the career you're having? What is the business that you're building? Is it worth owning? Is the life that you're living worth living? Is the experiences that you provide to those that you care for and love for worth giving? And is the legacy that you're creating worth leaving? Okay. And as we create activities and do different things within our world, we always try and have our mission statement within our North Star to make sure that we're building an incredibly collaborative, inclusive community, to make sure that we're approaching it in the proper manner, right? As it relates to our vision is to be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. Pretty straightforward, right? To be the real estate company of choice for agents and their customers. Our values are God, family, and business. Now, here's what I would challenge you in your thought process to this, because I've had a lot of conversations with people around the first word within the phrase values, which is God. And here's what I would tell you. It's whatever spiritually you believe in. Some people may not believe in God. That's totally cool. But you have a spirit with it deep down within inside you that, again, provides you the energy that gets you to wake up every single day. What is the spirit that lives within you? And are your values in alignment to the way in which that you show up every single day? God, family, then business, right? Lastly, it's our beliefs. And when we look at our beliefs and we think about the activities that we do and the ways in which we approach our co-brokes, the ways in which that we approach our friends, our family, those in which that we care for, it's interesting that we've had a lot of, I would say there's some friction within the market, right? I think there are some people that are pressing within the market, and there are various different things that have shown up that have created some interesting situations as it relates to how we are dealing either with clients. I've had more clients call me directly as it relates to agents involved in a transaction this year than I've ever had in the 8-9 years we've been doing this. And I thought it was important to talk about our beliefs. Win-win or no deal. How are we looking? This is not a win-lose. You got to remember the co-broke on the other side of the deal is also trying to get a deal done. They're not trying to find a ways in which to say, hey, I gotcha. Integrity, are we doing the right thing? Our customers always come first. Do we have commitment in all things? Communication, do we seek first to understand? I think it's the first thing that gets lost in agent-to-agent conflict, peer-to-peer conflict, agent to family conflict, is people are quick to judge, right? Are we seeking first to understand? Creativity, ideas before results, teamwork, together everyone achieves more. Trust starts with honesty, equity, opportunities for all, and success results through people. At the end of the day, we're an incredibly people-focused business. We're an incredibly people-oriented business, and we need to make sure that the results that we have as an organization are the results that you have individually within the businesses that you wish to own and desire to build, right? And so I thought it was an important time to kind of make sure that we're having our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspective in order. And our perspective is this: a technology company that provides the real estate platform that our agents, buyers, and sellers prefer. Keller Williams thinks like a top producer, acts like a trainer, consultant, focuses all its activities on service, productivity, and profitability, right? Incredible way in which that as we think about, we reset our mindset for the back half of the year is making sure that we're grounding ourselves in our mission, vision, values, beliefs, and perspectives. And I'll share with you something that someone shared with me once as it relates to how you build an organization that's a championship winning culture, right? And it talked about, as I was having a conversation with someone recently, they talked about how no one wants to play for second place. No one wants to play for a loser. They want to play on a winning team, okay? How do you create that winning team so that the culture is enhanced through creating winning activities, right? And how you define winning activities within your own personal and professional life is something that you have to define. But someone shared with me, if I'm hiring a coach, I'm hiring a culture builder. Every coach knows the game, but can they connect, communicate a clear vision, recruit and develop people well, multiply their leadership? They can climb, but can they get others up the mountain? Culture is the competitive advantage, right? And so as we sit here in June and we think about the back half of the year and we think about the reset to our mindset, I challenge you to take some time from a standpoint of reflection as to where you are, to take a pulse on your situation in the first half of the year to where it is that you plan to go in the back half of the year. Now, I'm going to leave that with you because my job is to make you think, and my job is to plant seeds within your brains that hopefully start sprouting. As I finish the presentation, we'll go through the reset model as to what it is that we need to do in order to take an effective reset sitting here on June 6th, right? Sound good? Beautiful. All right, with that, Vranik, I'm flipping it over to you for Tech Tuesday. What's new in Command, advanced contract filters, and transaction summary?
Yeah, so exciting stuff, you guys. This is a couple of new features that have been in the works for a while and that you have requested, again, for a while. So really exciting that it's finally released. Okay, got it. So the first one, we've got advanced contact filters now available. So there's some new criteria that you can filter by within your contact section, your database. The more exciting feature is you now have advanced filters. So if anyone has ever wanted to filter by a certain list of contacts, but exclude a certain tag, you can now do so. And the one thing that I really like is that you can filter by missing contact information. So you can literally pull up a list of all of the contacts that you're missing, any email address or a mailing address or a phone number or a birthday. So you can specifically look at that list and then go through and say, okay, these are the people I need to reach out to, give them a call if I need their email address, ime them if I need their phone number, etc. So you can filter by multiple filters at one time, but it's really simple. You just click on that filters button, and then you have this advanced option at the top. So you click on that, and then you'll be able to see the screenshot on the right-hand side there, and you can see you can add just filter after filter, depending on what you're looking for. So really great way to keep organized within your database. In addition, you also now have the option to generate a transaction summary. So For anyone who's a transaction coordinator and in command and utilizing this, you have the ability to generate that transaction summary page for any opportunity within command. So this is going to pull the information from the opportunity, the detail section. So things like key dates, opportunity checklists, if you're utilizing that, the offer details, dates, offer terms, parties, the transaction parties, buyers and sellers, vendors, which I'll get to in a little bit, and your commission summary. So sales price, commission rate, payment date, and what you're paying to the office and other agents. And so you also have the ability to customize that summary page. So you have full control on what displays, so you can check off and uncheck certain details. If you don't have certain things filled out, then those sections just won't appear. So really, really great tool. This is just within the opportunity. I think I have yep. So on this screenshot here, you'll see that there's this generate transaction summary, this little link right at the top. So you click on that. Oops. Oop.
Oh, you gotta go back. Oh.
Got it.
There you go.
All right. Yep, so I just wanted to go back and show you that generate transaction summary. So that's within the detail section of the opportunity. And then finally, you also have the option to add vendors. So I don't know if anyone's noticed this within the opportunity, the detail section. You have this parties to the transaction. And so this is a really great opportunity to kind of keep organized and add those vendors. So anyone that you're working on in regards to this specific opportunity. So you can easily keep track of the representatives you're working with and their contact information. And that vendor information can also be included on the transaction summary page. So things like, the home warranty company, an attorney, mortgage brokers, title companies, insurance, the home inspector that you're working with. So you can add all of those vendors to the opportunity. So a lot of really great stuff, really features that are going to help you really stay organized within both your database and your transactions, your opportunities within command. And so I just want to go through our training schedule for June. So we've got a lot of different topics this month. So this Thursday on June 8th at 11 on Zoom, Kathleen and I will be going over how to get paid in command. So we did this training a few months ago, I would say maybe back in November, but we're literally going to walk through the entire process of how to create an opportunity, how to draft contracts in zip form, send them through DocuSign to get signatures, uploading them for compliance review, how to submit your accepted offer, how to submit your commission request, all of it. So essentially it's how you get paid in command by doing all of those things, staying organized, and really how to use command, zip form, DocuSign at its highest level. And then later on this month, we're going to go through the newsletter playbook. So diving back into those playbooks from Family Reunion. And then at the end of the month, we're going to go through Chat GPT. So if anyone's interested in learning more about that and some other useful apps. And then we're going to do a Canva 101, and that's going to be in person in innovation. So a lot of really great trainings this month for marketing masterminds. So come check us out on Zoom, otherwise the 22nd in person. All right, thanks.
Awesome. Brannick, thank you. All right, here we go. Next up, Sheriff Reed or Lieutenant Steph. Oh, quick offer. My apologies. I was a little out of order. Office operations update. So we've been working through the new listings and coming soons and conglomerating information across all 4 locations to get you access to economies of scale to the listings that are coming up before they hit the MLS, excluded single parties, so on and so forth. Okay. One of the things that you've noticed is we've been sending out these reminders, asking you for the information. And then I've noticed it's a bit of a quick turnaround to get you the information. We're going to make one slight change to this moving forward. We're actually going to send you a reminder on Friday, and we're going to send you a reminder on Monday. Okay. Then what we're going to do is on Monday afternoon, I will go through to filter information because there are still people that are putting too much information in a way in which from an excluded or single party listing opportunity where they put the address that the address shouldn't be on there. So I'm trying to protect you. We'll filter those on Monday afternoon to send them to you now Monday night. The goal of this is so that you have the ability to review Monday night or Tuesday morning in advance of team meeting so that you can walk into the team meeting or you have the opportunity to find those that you want to connect with based on the information that's been provided. Doing so, sending out the reminder on Friday and sending out the reminder on Monday morning allows those that go on listing appointments over the weekend to make sure that their information is provided. And the entire goal of it is to then create more collaboration on Tuesday because you have the information in advance versus us trying to collect it within basically an 8 to 12 hour window and then filtering the information to get it back to you within about an 8 to 12 hour window. And the time frame was so tight and we were losing the collaboration aspect of what we were trying to achieve with this. So we're going to make a tweak moving forward. You'll get a reminder on Friday. You'll get a reminder on Monday morning, and then we will filter it Monday afternoon to get it to you Monday evening so that we can drive more collaboration around what is within the list on Tuesdays. Make sense? Beautiful. We're on week 3 or 4 of this. Remember, we're perfecting the process as we go. If you have feedback or have information that you'd like shared with us, please don't hesitate to reach out. We've added a few more filters and things like that to provide you access to more information within the coming soons and excluded. Sound good? Beautiful. All right, with that, now I'm flipping it over to Sheriff Reed and Lieutenant Steph. Guys, what do we have from a compliance standpoint this week?
Good segue, because we are going to be going over single party listings, and Joni and I just wanted to throw out a few reminders and make some distinctions between single party listings and MLS excluded. We have a feeling that a lot of people are going into proposing single party listings to potential sellers when what we think you really want to do is do an MLS excluded listing. So just a reminder, so a single party listing is a non-exclusive right to sell the listing as opposed to an exclusive right to sell. So that means that other firms can actually have the opportunity to sell that same listing. The seller can also sell it himself. So with a single party listing, we just really want to drive home the point that it's meant to happen organically through like networking with our colleagues and networking with clients and bringing two parties together organically. So if an opportunity for a single party does not come together and that seller is still interested in selling, then we should turn that into an MLS excluded listing. So that's the best practice. You know, again, just get an MLS excluded listing contract signed if that initial pairing does not come together. We cannot advertise publicly. So it's going to sound conflicting to what Charlie just said, but on our coming soon and an excluded list, the single party opportunities are technically not supposed to go on those lists. So if they do make it on there, as a reminder, Charlie and Willis are doing those scrubbing ahead of time, but we cannot have addresses on those lists. But again,
Hey, Steph.
Yes, sir.
I want to create one point of clarity. When people put single parties on there, we're cool with it. All we're doing is scrubbing the address to try and be a conduit to a connection. So for example, let's say Steph has a single party opportunity at 123 Main Street in Brookfield. She submits the single party as 123 Main Street in Brookfield. I then realize, hey, that's exposing Steph. We probably shouldn't do that, but I want to create an opportunity for Steph that may create a transaction. So then what I do is I say, Steph has a single party in Brookfield. And then, if you have a buyer in Brookfield within the price range in which that she discloses, that we can create a connection.
Thank you. Yes. But again, I'm just going to tag on to that and say best practice, just turn that into an excluded listing. So I just have to say that. Okay. And then come to Joni and I for questions, obviously, always. Then this, just quick reminders on compensation and how we are communicating compensation in MLS. This is something that has not come up at all for me my time as compliance broker, but then, of course, for the last week, it's come up 3 times. So just a reminder, triple check your data sheet before going live. As it relates to how you are inputting the sub-agent commission and the buyer agent commission. So just a reminder, what's communicated for compensation in MLS at the time that an offer is submitted is what is owed to the co-broke company. So if we make a mistake, we can't backtrack. That's what is promised to the co-broke company, regardless of what it says on our listing contracts. And then also a reminder, sub-agent and buyer agent compensation is generally the same, but it does not have to be. Sometimes you want to incentivize our co-brokes, and you might make that seller agent, that sub-agent compensation higher, but again, it is generally the same, that 2.4%. And then a reminder that sub-agent means a co-broker who is writing as an agent of the seller. It is not what we as listing agents are taking home from the transaction. It's what we are offering to an agent who is writing as agent of the seller. So we've just had a few issues with this, both on our end from inputting mistakes, communicating higher agent or higher commission structures, and had to backtrack and go to the co-broke and you know, ask for forgiveness. And then it also happened on the other side as well. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Beautiful.
We have a question here, Charlie. 1 second.
Party listings. My experience of this has always been for one party that we put on the contract.
Right.
So what you're saying then is when you're putting that out there, it means that contract that we wrote with the seller, for a specific name, that person has not come together. So now we're trying to advertise more single party listings for our seller.
So the question is if it doesn't come together, we're just trying to clarify if that.
should status.
Yes.
On that.
Yes, so the question is just clarifying a single party listing should have a specific name on the contract, and the answer is yes. So if that buyer that is named buyer A comes through, and it was a potential interest for them, but they see it and they don't want to pursue an offer, then you don't have a contract anymore. I mean, so what people are trying to do then is try and procure buyer B and going out there and saying, I've got a single party listing opportunity now. So that's another, thank you for that question, because then before you can even show it to buyer B, you have to amend the listing contract and add them to the listing contract and name them as a buyer before you show it. Otherwise, you're not protected. So that's why best practice, if buyer A does not come together, then turn that into a single or turn that into an excluded listing. That's what you really want to do. Then you're protected as the listing agent. Nobody else can come in. The seller can't sell it then himself, themselves. And then you just have a lot more freedom to go out there. You don't have to like keep changing and altering the listing contract then either. So that's best practice.
What's the best practice? Say that again.
To turn a single party listing opportunity into just an MLS excluded. And I think that's what, as agents, that's what we're really trying to achieve and really trying to do. It's just, it just doesn't translate that way when we're out talking to our sellers about it. So. Okay.
You can't advertise either one.
You
Publicly.
can't advertise either one publicly, correct?
Publicly, right.
Okay,
We're getting hot
so
water.
questions, reach out to Steph or Joan as they help you navigate the landmines of single parties and excludeds. Be careful.
And
Sound
best
good?
practice is putting it out live for our sellers. We're acting as fiduciaries.
Yes.
Yeah,
You're not doing anybody.
you're not doing anybody any favors.
That's for you and another agent.
Okay. Thank you, Steph.
Okay, thanks, Karen.
All right. Next up, Wooten, 3 keys to happiness. Okay. We talked about this last time, and I shared with you my experience at the Boys and Girls Club and Pastor Kenneth Locke, who shared 3 things before he gave the invocation at the Boys and Girls Club MVP Gala. And he challenged the room of 600 people in downtown Milwaukee The 3 keys to happiness were somewhere to be, something to do, and someone or something you love. Now, as it relates to that, how are the 3 keys of happiness driving the career you're worth owning, or the career worth having and the business worth owning? Let's take a look at as it relates to upcoming trainings and events. So, Wooten, what do these guys need to be paying attention to in the month of June?
I'm actually really excited for this month because we have a ton on the calendar for you guys to dive into, plug into, and network with your fellow agents. So coming up first, next slide, Charlie, we have some training on Thursday, June 8th, via Zoom, and it's all about how to create more listings and keep clients basically up to knowledge and up to date on information on autopilot using HomeBot. So if you've never heard of HomeBot, or you have heard of it but aren't using it because you're not really sure what it's about, I highly recommend you tune into this training about it with Erin Johnson, who works for HomeBot. So she'll be kind of deep diving into what it is and how it can help you in your business.
Real quick, you don't know what HomeBot is. Let me give you a real life example in my own personal life. HomeBot is an AI generated CMA. I have a lender that knows my personal address that put me in HomeBot. Okay. The average open rate of emails is less than 10%. HomeBot's average rate of open emails is over 60%. I will tell you, of the thousands of automated generated emails that I get, despite the fact that I'm in the industry and I generally know the value of my home and where it's going, I open the HomeBot automated email every single month because I am incredibly inquisitive as to where the value of my property is going based on what they see it. The beautiful thing to it is the agent on the back end to their platform is the only one who has access to the information. It's an incredibly interesting tool. I would just tell you again, from my own anecdotal experience, I open the emails every month because I'm always wondering how it is that the tool HomeBot views my property, and it can create a two-way dialogue for you based on the back end of the platform, your ability to see who is playing with the tool and the value, because you can change it based on your debt to income ratio and a lot of different things to see the value. So maybe something worth checking out this week, Thursday at 10 a.m. on Zoom. Wooten, next up.
Yeah, so I'm super excited that we have 2 more opportunities in the month of June to watch Rachel Adams-Lee via Zoom. She was here a couple months ago in April that did a social media training with us. If you missed that, you missed out. So make sure you're on these next 2 calls. The first one is on the 8th, Thursday at 1 p.m. and it's all going to be about videos, how to create really great content videos for your social media channels, which I think we all could use a little help in, right? So definitely tune into her on Thursday. Then next week, Wednesday, we have Pete's Pops. This is our end of the school year, start of summer bash. Please bring your families. It'll be at every office on the 14th from 3 to 5 p.m. And I promise you, we have plenty of pops. So come grab a popsicle with us.
Bring your kids, bring whoever you want, bring them into your environment, show them where it is that you work, and have a Pete's Pops with us.
And then here's the second opportunity for Rachel Adams-Lee coming up next week as well on Thursday at 1 p.m. It'll all be about dominating your market through listings and referrals. So really building the referral network through social media, which is what we all hope to achieve, right? So she's going to show you how to do that. It's all on Zoom. Yep. And then 1 o'clock. Yep. And then we do not have a team meeting on the 20th because offices will be closed on the 19th in honor of Juneteenth. And instead, we have the Tony Robbins coaching group coming live via Zoom at 11 a.m. So in lieu of team meeting, please tune into this Tony Robbins performance workshop. We're going to have some watch parties in the offices. There are PDFs that you'll need. It is going to be more of a workshop style experience, but it's a really great mindset reset, especially as we work towards the second half of this year. And then guys, my favorite time of the year, Ignite is back. It's starting July 10th. It will be in person in the New Berlin office on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 11. So registration is now open. You can scan that QR code. Remember, Ignite only comes around twice a year. It's a really great way to refresh on some of those principles of your business, like lead generation and lead follow-up, working with sellers, working with buyers. So make sure you're at Ignite.
So don't know what Ignite is. Let me help you out. Okay. You have 12 sections of the course, all taught by your peers, a cross section of folks across the different geographies in southeastern Wisconsin. Here's the beauty of the course. Diversity of thought and diversity of approach is incredibly powerful. Learn different ways in which that makes different people successful, and then learn the ways in which that you choose to implement it within your business. If you're considering taking the class, the answer is yes. Here's the best part. What's the cost? Nothing. It's free. We have 12 to 13 agents who are taking their time to invest in you, to give back, to help you understand what it is that makes them successful, each of them being unique. For perspective, in January, we had 68 people take the course. 68 people invested basically 24 hours of their time, because it's 12 classes at 2 hours a pop. The average range, or I shouldn't say average, the range in which the production within the room, those who took the course of the 68 people, was anywhere from 12 million to brand new, newly licensed. Okay. This does not need to be that you're brand new in order to take the class. You're having a little bit of a tough year. You need a little bit of a reset. You need some inspiration. Jump into Ignite. Starting July 10th through August 9th, we're doing it centrally located in New Berlin in person. And the best part about it is the opportunity to have two-way dialogue with those that have incredible success. If you're interested, the world is run by those who show up. Life's about choices. Sound good? Beautiful. Thanks, Wooten. Lastly, guys, just as a heads up, we have the e-recycling drives coming up in Milwaukee, June 17th at Dominican in the North Shore location, Saturday, July 29th for New Berlin, and out in Lake Country, Saturday, August 26th. A great opportunity for you to leverage as a client touch base and database touch base to drive people for a free client event in a really simple way. Basically, electronics represent 2% of America's trash landfills, but it equals 70% of the overall toxic waste. A great way to touch your client base. I'll tell you this. I've started collecting items in my own personal home this weekend. We had a Dyson vacuum. We had a Peg Prego John Deere tractor, multiple TVs and computer monitors that I can't get rid of at the dump. They've just been collecting in a corner of my basement or in my garage, and I'm hoping to unload at one of these three throughout the next couple of weeks. Sound good? Take advantage of opportunities available to you to touch your database. And then lastly, it's not average camp, it's mega camp, August 15th to the 16th, 2 straight days of learning from those across the country of how they build a huge business. Diversity of thought, diversity of approach is powerful. Sound good? All right, here you go. This is where I'm going to finish with what I planted in the beginning and how I'm going to help you understand how you're going to reset your mindset heading in to the back half of the year. Okay. I'm going to give you a quick overview as a market report as to where the market is. Here's what you need to know. New inventory units on a weekly basis. Okay. It always dips the weekend of Memorial Day. Don't take this as that the market is slowing down. I'll tell you, seasonally, historically, June represents the highest new unit inventory that comes on the market across the 12-month year. Okay. June historically does. So don't take the last 2 weeks as an indicator that the market's slowing down on new inventory. It's a function of the holiday weekend. Now, you know how I also know this? Here's units that have gone under contract on a weekly basis. Again, remember the red line is the latest 24-week average. You can see the last essentially 8 weeks, we've been well above the latest 24-week averages. And you can see there was a slight dip in units that went under contract the week of Memorial Day weekend, not nearly as much as the dip we saw in new inventory units. So what does that tell you? Demand remains relatively very strong. Also, for perspective, 407 units went under contract within the Memorial Day weekend and only 395 came to the market. Now, we'll wait and see what June brings. But again, I'm not overly concerned about it because dips usually happen during holiday periods. So where does that leave us? A couple weeks ago, I challenged you guys' mindset as it relates to how we're looking at percentages. And I talked about perception. And some folks that I've had conversations with perceived that their business was spiraling, when in fact they had to compare themselves versus the market to understand and take stock in where they were through the first half of the year. Okay. And here's what I want to challenge you with is year-to-date actuals. Where are you at versus your goals? Okay. Where are you at versus your goals? Because here's what you need to know. Through May, there have been 13,770 units. 13,770 units. My question to you is how many units either A, have you closed, or B, do you plan, or what is your goal to close for the year? 13,000 have already closed, almost 14,000. Same question I'd have for you as it relates to your listings taken units. Okay. There's been 9,546 units that have listings that have come to the market from January through May of this year. Where are you at as it relates to your performance versus your goals? Where are you at versus your performance versus your goals? Because so far, 9,500 listings have come to the market. Have you gotten your fair share versus what it is that you're trying to achieve? Okay. Now I'm going to take a little bit of a sidebar for you because we're going to go, we've talked a little bit about a reset. And for those of you who have been around for a while, you've heard me tell the story of Nike a ton. And if you don't know the story of Nike, I would challenge you in ways in which if you need inspiration to do one of two things, go watch the new movie Air that's out on Amazon Prime. It's the story of how in the 1980s, Nike was the third largest apparel company in the world behind Adidas and Converse. 90% of their revenue came from the running category. And the story is all around the pursuit of Michael Jordan. I think the rest of you know who Michael Jordan is and what happened thereon and so forth. Okay. The other incredible thing that I would challenge you with, if you need inspiration and you're feeling burnt out as it relates to Nike, is I would encourage you to go read the book Shoe Dog. And it's Phil Knight, who is the founder and chairman of Nike. It's his personal memoir of how he started the company back at the University of Oregon with a waffle iron, and how he basically leveraged his entire future for 20 years until they had their breakthrough moment, which is then talked about both in the book and the movie, and how the breakthrough moment has now led them to be the #1 apparel company in the world by leaps and bounds, to the point that if you just simply look at the history of their stock performance, this is what we call a hockey stick curve. Okay. It's gradual, then sudden. This is the perfect example of what the hockey stick curve looks like over time and how you build a big business. So as you're sitting here in June, if you're feeling exhausted, you're feeling like you need a mental break, check it out. Here's the last thing I'd share with you as it relates to inspiration, as it correlates to Nike. In the 1980s, Phil Knight wrote a manifest to his team. Okay. And it had 10 items on the manifest basically there's the whole phrase of like, you want to manifest your destiny. Here was his manifest. 1, our businesses change. 2, we're on offense all the time. 3, perfect results count, not a perfect process. Break rules, fight the law. 4, this is a battle as much as it is a business. 5, assume nothing. Make sure people keep their promises. Push yourselves to push others. Stretch the possible. 6, live off the land. 7, your job isn't done until the job is done. 8, dangers, bureaucracy, personal ambition, energy takers versus energy givers, knowing our weaknesses, don't get too many things on the platter. 9, it won't get pretty. 10, if we do the right things, we'll make money damn near automatic. Okay. As you sit here in the middle of June and you're looking for inspiration, I would encourage you to dig into the story of Nike and Phil Knight. It's incredible. Very few organizations in this world are ever able to have trajectories like this. Okay. And now what I want to do is I want to walk you through a model, because what I'm feeling from the group is a little bit of maybe some anxiety or anxiousness around what it is, where we are within the year. Okay. And this is what I need you to understand. I need you to wrap your mindset around goal setting. Okay. If you think about goal setting as this, well, here's what most people do. The end of the year happens. You take stock on what you were able to achieve, the challenges you overcome, and there's this rush of euphoria in January that you are someone new. Okay. And you get to celebrate the notion of a do-over. Okay. We start strong, however, determination wanes as life gets in the way. And people become inconsistent. People become inconsistent. So suddenly we're sitting here in June and you're behind goals and you feel discouraged, right? You're mentally and physically exhausted, feeling discouraged because you've already failed and you have the impulse to give up. Here's where I'm going to start. The challenge is, where are we in 2023? Okay. From a calendar standpoint, June is already 50% out, 50% complete. 90 days out is August. Everything in this business has a 90-day life cycle, which means August is already 70% of the way there. However, based on the seasonality and the way in which our business shows up, if you think about 90 days out, 76% of all real estate transactions have already been booked by now. 76% based on the way the seasonality of the business is. So, where is your mindset at as it relates to what your gap is? And the challenge I'd have for you is the impulse is the easy button is to give up. The impulse is the easy button is to give up, because settling for good enough today, and I want to repeat this, settling for good enough today has a cumulative effect on your business because it sets you behind when it comes to your goals next year and the years to follow. Okay, this is a compounding impact as to where it is that you wish to be in the next 5 years. And my challenge to you, and I write this in many of the Capper books, you can be anywhere you want to be in life, personally or professionally, in 5 years. The question is, will you do it? And as we sit here in June, I would challenge you to not have the impulse to give up on where it is that your goals are, and more so do a reset and take stock in where it is that you are and where it is that you plan to go as we sit here on June 6th. You feel me? Beautiful. So what's the model? To get back on track, see, the back half of the year, while it may be 76% complete, the back half of the year is all about minimizing the gap. Or if you've ever been to London, they talk about as you get off the tube, mind the gap, mind the gap. The thing is with minding the gap is this: how do you minimize the disruption the first 6 months have provided you so that in 2024, 2025, and 2026, you didn't set yourself up for being too far behind by the way in which that you performed June through December in 23. See, a reset is a proven model to redirect focus and fine tune the plan for the second half of the year. So let's go through it. Okay. 1, reflect. The differentiator in successful people, art of reflection. It's amazing how few people do it. Fast track success and buffers lost ground during times of crisis. Until crisis derails our hustle, we are forced to reflect. Point being is very few people reflect. It's June 6th, right? You hear a lot of people who will go on to a hotel in December and they'll spend a day in there writing their goals and their mission, vision, values, and where it is they want to go. You should also be doing that in June because you're trying to mind the gap. Reflection is an unbiased inventory of what has happened up to this point. Simply, you have to take notice based on where you are. So my question to you is, when are you reflecting and are you consistent in your approach? 2 of reset is evaluate. Okay. Once you have time to reflect on the past, you have to evaluate what happened. Be critical and honest, what worked and what didn't. Okay. We're only in June. The year isn't over. Don't set yourself up for a poor 24 or poor 25 because you gave up in 23. And you have to ask yourself through evaluation, are my activities supporting me and my goals? Are my activities supporting me and my goals? What are my distractions to my important work? Do my goals make sense? And have my priorities changed? Lots can happen in life in 6 months. Have your priorities changed based on where it is that you set your North Star in January? Next, simplify instead of overcomplicate. See, the knee-jerk reaction is to do more. Doing more creates burnout and giving up altogether. Okay, simplifying. What can you say no to? And this is an incredibly important one that I have to learn every single day. What can you say no to in order to say yes to what matters most? Everything does not matter equally. Remember the 80-20 principle. 20% of your activities lead to 80% of your results. So what can you eliminate to invest more time in the right activities? Reset, establish a plan. Break down your goal into measurable activities. Drill down milestones you must meet to achieve your goals. Successful people are clear on their priorities. And remember, priorities can change. Life is about change. They act in order of priority, and it's not a to-do list, a success list. So you have to create timing within your plan. And so as we think about reset, the last letter within reset is time. Once your priorities are clear for the back half of the year, you understand where it is that you are, you have to protect your time. Life never simplifies. The moment life does not simplify. The moment you simplify your focus, your priorities become clear in order to protect your time. You can control your calendar does not control you. Because remember, as it relates to time, all the things that initially knocked you off track still exist. After a reset, you've armed with information and a plan to be productive in order to make progress towards the right direction as to where it is that you want to go. And if you don't take massive action in June, the compounding effect of continued missed results will continue for years to come. Okay? You can do anything you want to change your life personally or professionally within 5 years. But you have to continuously take stock in where it is that you are and where it is that you want to go. Simplify, perform a reset in June to have clarity as to what your priorities are and where it is that you want to go. Right? So if you want extraordinary results, you will not achieve extraordinary results if you surrender to mediocrity by June. Take pulse on where it is that you stand. Are you on track? Are you crushing it? Do you feel behind or hopeless? Don't give up. Get clear. Where are you and where are you going? Okay? Recommit to what it is that your plan is and drive focus to it. The clarity in the focus is what will help you see through to the back half of the year as we sit here on June 6th. Make sense? Beautiful. Again, remember, my job as a leader is to make you think. It's not to tell you what to do. But if I drive you to think differently, you will act differently. And not all is lost in this first half of the year. 13,000 transactions have occurred, 9,500 listings. All you have to do is get more than your fair share. Make sense? The reset model and the rest of these slides will be available to you on kwrealtymke.com this afternoon. We'll have these uploaded, so feel free. And if you want to have a conversation around Nike, or you need to borrow my book, or you want my Amazon Prime password so you can watch Air, hit me up and I'll make sure that you can get it done. Sound good? Guys, perform a reset, and continue focused on the back half of the year. Sound good? Awesome. There you go. There's